Welcome back to Cheer Animation. Today I'll be talking about a reboot that, well, makes some of us question everything. Today we're looking at a show that somehow took Scooby-Doo and said, let's strip away the fun and the mystery. And oh yeah, let's strip away Scooby-Doo too. That's right, we're talking about Velma, the reboot that nobody really asked for, but we still somehow got. So if you want to see how a world where Scooby-Doo is missing, the mysteries are barely there, and Velma, well, she's not exactly a Velma we remember, looks like, stay tuned and watch the video. So let's break down the concept first. When you hear Scooby-Doo, what comes to mind? A funny, talking Great Dane with a questionable diet, and a gang of teens solving mysteries in a groovy van, right? It's the kind of show that made you want to watch it on repeat as a kid. But in the Velma show, someone took all that nostalgic goodness and said, nah, let's make it gritty. It's like if they turned the Flintstones into a post-apocalyptic thriller. Some things just don't need to be dark and edgy. This reboot feels like someone threw Riverdale, 13 Reasons Why, and a dash of Euphoria into a blender with a hint of mystery as the garnish. Only that they forgot that we already have enough teen shows. And when I say enough, I mean enough. Bruh. Now let's talk about the characters, because Velma made some choices. Remember Velma, the lovable, slightly awkward, and brilliant member of the gang, whose Jenkies moments are unforgettable? Well, in this reboot, Velma has become, how should I put this, unnecessarily mean. She's cynical, snarky, and just plain rude half of the time. It's like they turned Velma into that one friend who'd roast you for being happy.
If you can't get your blood pressure down, you can't call me down. Whatever, little mama. If your cholesterol is 600. Whatever, little mama.
And what about Norville, aka Shaggy? Oh sorry, we're not calling him Shaggy anymore, because apparently that was too on brand. He's Velma's best friend, and he has like this weird crush on her, but in this version he's got zero of that Shaggy charm. He's not funny at all anymore. He doesn't have his comedy duo, which was Scooby. And his appearance, well, let's just say it's changed a lot.
What the hell?
And then there's Daphne. Instead of being the stylish, capable mystery solver we knew, she's, well, a mean girl. Like one of those girls from every high school movie. Yeah, she's one of those type of girls. And the show spends way too much time on her and Velma's weird rivalry. That feels more like a poorly written teen drama than anything that has to do with Scooby-Doo. But let's not forget about Fred, the leader of the mystery gang, the guy with the iconic ascot. In Velma, Fred's character is dialed up to 11, but not in a good way. Instead of the charming, if slightly dim-witted leader we loved, he's portrayed as this rich, spoiled, clueless jerk who's barely self-aware. It's almost like the writers wanted him to be the comic relief, but forgot to add any actual comedy. Fred isn't just the butt of the joke, he is the joke, and not the good kind. We get it, you want to add depth and layers to the characters, but this just feels like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And now the real mystery of this reboot. Where are the mysteries? Remember when Scooby-Doo was all about unmasking villains who would have gotten away with it if it weren't for those meddling kids? Yeah, those were the days. In Velma, we have mysteries that feel like they were written as an afterthought to all the personal drama. The joy of Scooby-Doo was that it never took itself too seriously. Sure, it could be spooky, but it was always fun. Here we're stuck in a swamp of convoluted plot lines that try too hard to be clever. You know things are bad when you start missing the old guy in a rubber mask formula. And can we talk about the lack of humor for a minute? Scooby-Doo had a formula. Sure, it was predictable, but it was fun. You had the slapstick moments and the over-the-top villains, and Scooby-Doo and Shaggy's iconic antics. But in Velma, the humor is... what humor? The jokes are dark, mean-spirited, and often land with a thud. It's almost as if they forgot this was a comedy/mystery. Like, where are the chase scenes, the ridiculous traps, the... moments. Instead, we're left with awkward, uncomfortable attempts at humor that miss the mark by a mile. Here's a big question. Who was this show even made for? It's too dark for kids, too dull for teens, and too detached from the original to make longtime fans want to watch it. It's like they tried to reimagine a classic for a new generation, but didn't understand what made it classic in the first place. People want to see their childhood favorites with a fresh twist, but not if that twist turns the show into something unrecognizable. If you're going to reboot a classic, at least keep what made it special intact. Look, I'm not saying a Velma-focused show couldn't work. In fact, it's a clever spin-off. But in my opinion, it would have been better if they made a spin-off on how they met, their early on adventures, and so on. Instead, we got a dark and borderline cynical take that feels out of place. There's a way to add depth without stripping away everything that the fans loved. So, is Velma worth your time? Well, if you're curious to see how a classic gets turned into something very weird, maybe. But if you're looking for the warm, goofy, lovable mystery-solving team we all grew up with, you're better off sticking with the originals. Or at least wait until they do a reboot that actually makes sense. But what do you guys think? Did you guys like Velma? And maybe I'm just over-hating on it? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more amazing content. Until the next video.